And I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish like well enough that folks would want me to listen to or would want to listen to an intro about Melanie. We'll see how it goes. Hi everybody. I am Ellen and I mentored Melanie this session, who is in 9th grade at Eastside. And I really liked getting to work with Melanie because she has a lot of experience already. She like really likes math and had done robotics before, which I was impressed by. And her project was actually really challenging, even for me. Like I had to learn a lot about electronics. So we were learning together, which was fun. Oh, and then for anybody in the room who is a software engineer, her project references memory addresses, which is not something I could even do in my own work. So very, very impressive. Oh, and then in Melanie's free time, she likes makeup and playing with her Cane Corso puppy. Very beautiful dog. All right. With that, I'll let Melanie take it away, unless you want to try.
Can Divina just do a quick summary of your intro, please, in Spanish, Divina?
Amazing.
Sure.
Sorry.
I'm gonna try. So ella se llama Ellen. Ella es fue la mentora de Melanie. Let me see. Ella tuvo se divirtió mucho con ella en ser su mentora. Lo que le gustó mucho de ella es de que ella ya tenía muchísima experiencia en el proyecto que ella escogió, específicamente en robóticos y es buena en matemáticas. Eso también le ayudó en escoger su proyecto, que fue un proyecto de Arduino. A ella le fascina todo eso y le gustó y sorry, I'm actually reading her intro. Le gustó hold on, let me see if there's something in Spanish. Oh, y lo que también le fascinó a Ellen de Melanie fue de que ella le gusta challenges, le gusta challenges. How do you say challenges in Spanish now?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to say challenges.
Okay, challenges. So ella escogió algo dificultoso para Ellen que ella nunca ha hecho. Esta experiencia para ella también le gustó por la manera de que ella también aprendió algo nuevo. En su tiempo, en su tiempo libre a Melanie le gusta el maquillaje y también jugar con su cachorro Cane Corso. Y hola, Melanie.
Hola, hi. Thank you, Divina, for the translation, and thank you, Ellen, for introducing me. So I'm Melany, and so my mentor was Ellen. She works as a software engineer at Square, and she's from Claremont, California, and she likes painting and golfing in her free time. Mi mentora es Ellen. Ella trabaja como un software engineer en Square. Ella es de Claremont, California. Le gusta pintar y también hacer el golf en su tiempo libre. Next slide, thank you. Entonces, para mi proyecto, for my project, I did an earthquake detector. The reason I chose to do an earthquake detector was because I wanted to implement something that had coding, but also something that had to do with the real world. And I think the biggest reason that I chose an earthquake detector was after being given like a little gist and like researching about what projects I could do for Magic. We came across an earthquake detector, and after I decided to research earthquake detectors, and I came across in NPR in about a news in 2019 where in Los Angeles their warning system for earthquakes did not activate, and it caused a lot of disaster for LA. So I just wanted to do something that made an impact to people and that could help people in the future. So across my journey, I have learned about coding in C++, programming in LCD, which I had to relearn. I wasn't the biggest fan of coding, but now I feel like really confident about my coding skills. I've been able to get into parts of the earthquake and code and like deepening my understanding about coding because, like I said, it wasn't anything I really liked, but now I really like it and I am like really confident in my skills. Okay. So, para mi proyecto, yo hice un detector de los terremotos. Yo quería implementar algo que tuviera que hacer con codificación y también quería trabajar en algo que ayudaría en el mundo real y que yo podría, que en el futuro es como una cosa chiquita, pero de un módulo grandote que pueda ayudar al mundo. Entonces, yo lo que realmente vi, lo que me impactó y que me hizo querer hacer un detector de terremotos específicamente fue haber visto en las news que en Los Ángeles su detector y el sistema de advertencias para los terremotos no sirvió y no se activó, entonces causó mucho desastre para Los Ángeles. Por, a lo largo de mi tiempo con Magic, pude aprender lo de codificación en C++ y cómo programar un LCD, que es un screen donde puedes poner palabras o letras. Yo he podido meterme mucho en lo de los terremotos y poder entender mucho más de la codificación y cómo es eso. Thank you. My magical experience. So, just a little gist about my magical experience was the coding. My mentality about coding changed completely, especially from like I did magic in 6th grade, and although I did get a good understanding of coding, it still was so hard for me to understand and to get a good grasp on. So I decided to now, as a 9th grader, go back to magic and really like ground myself to coding, and I was determined to this time really understand it. So my mentality completely changed. Across the way, I was able to learn about earthquake warning systems not activating. One of my biggest challenge was probably the debugging aspect of the earthquake, and this was because it's so hard to catch like little mistakes because it's so like coding is so strict, and it nitpicks everything, so I had to go through again and again. So before magic, during 8th grade, I took up robotics, which I spotted like a major difference from robotics from my robotics season and a semester at magic. And the biggest thing was the fact that magic was more coding heavy and robotics was more building heavy. So coding. So it was a lot more coding heavy, and although when I was in robotics, I really avoided coding and I didn't want to do it at all. But now, as soon as I go back to robotics during the summer, I am definitely going to be helping out with the coding and definitely going to be on the building aspect and the coding now. So I got to use an accelerometer. Well, it's called a different name, but I used it as an accelerometer, and it was basically to detect the shaking. Yeah. Okay. Un poco de mi experiencia mágica. So, un poco de lo que yo hice fue la codificación, mi mentalidad de eso completamente cambió. Antes yo tomé Magic en sexto grado y aunque me gustó coding, no le pude entender mucho, todavía no entendía mucho. Entonces, este año como freshman quise determinarme en aprender bien como el código y estar cómoda con la codificación. Entonces, eso, y ahora soy muy confident con el coding. Entonces, algo que aprendí fue del sistema que no se activó y realmente me impactó la razón en que yo escogí este proyecto. Mi desafío más difícil, el más grande desafío que yo tuve fue probablemente tener que revisar mi código porque a veces tenía cosas malas y completamente no servía mi código. Entonces, fueron muchos tiempos donde nomás nos dedicamos a volver a regresar al código y volver a escribir otras cosas. Entonces, eso fue mi desafío más grande. Antes de Magic en Palo, yo tomé robotics y como ya dije también Magic, pero
Your sound is really getting garbled for some
um,
reason, Melanie.
diferencia que yo vi fue que robotics sí tiene código, pero siempre me incorporaba mucho más en lo de construir, no me acuerdo para lo de me voy a apuntar mucho.
Melanie, would it be better if you maybe hopped on one of the other girls' computers to present, since the sound on your computer is being a little jarbled?
Rainey's gonna let me use her computer.
Oh, perfect. All right, awesome.
So, thank you, Rainey. Entonces, ¿por dónde me quedé? Entonces ahora voy a estar haciendo código mucho más. Lo que usé hoy era un detector de la aceleración, entonces, y eso nomás detectaba cuando algo se estaba moviendo o algo se estaba agitando mucho. Entonces, sí. Thank you.
Next slide.
Yes, please. Entonces, para mi demo, en la izquierda pueden ver a la izquierda. To the left, you could see the beginning of my coding, and on the breadboard specifically, you could see what I use as an accelerometer, and it was plugged into the Arduino just to detect everything. And I used my computer to tell me all the X and Y axes to detect the earthquake. On the far right, you could see my code, and it's just basically I said if the earthquake was detected, then say true, and if it was detected, then I would set the variable of if it was detected, it would be if the AY was too small, if the AZ was if the AZ was too big, and that's how I said that an earthquake was detected. So if the earthquake was detected, then the buzzer, where it says buzzer pin high, it would start buzzing and it'd make a loud noise. It would also turn on an LED. I don't have the LED plugged in my video, but it does turn on. And then it would also display on my screen on the LCD earthquake, and else if there was no earthquake detected, then the buzzer pin would be on low, basically off, and the light would also be on low. And then as there's my video. The sound's pretty loud though.
I played your video a few times actually. So should we move on to the next slide?
Para mi demo, yo hice a la izquierda, pueden ver los inicios que hice con la cosa chiquita, el cuadrito verde que ven en el breadboard, fue lo que detectaba cuando algo cuando se agitaba, entonces era lo que, si se agitaba de más, era lo que decía, activaba mi código. En la izquierda pueden ver mi código, entonces decía si se detectaba que unos ciertos like axis estaban muy grandes o muy chiquitos, se detectaba y se prendía. Entonces, cuando se detectaba el earthquake, prendía el buzzer que hacía el ruido fuerte, no sé si lo pueden escuchar, la luz, y también en el screen chiquito se podía ver earthquake, terremoto, y cuando no se detectaba estaba en low, entonces estaba completamente apagado. Okay, we could go to the next slide. Thank you. Muchas gracias. ¿Alguien tiene unas preguntas? Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Did it ever have you tested it out? Like, I don't know if there has been any like small tremors or small earthquakes, but have you been to a place that is like active? Or even like, have you tested it out on like, say, a bridge when there's like a bunch of trucks coming and it simulates a little bit of like a shake. Have you done something like that?
No, I haven't, but I probably could. But the thing is, I would have to take my computer with me
Oh,
because the Arduino's plugged into my computer. So I don't know. But also, like the only like way that was the easiest way to do it was just shake the breadboard, and it would detect the earthquake. But I haven't done that. That's a good idea though. I should do that.
yeah.
Yes, we have a comment in the chat from Jasmine. She says, I live in California and we had an earthquake here last week. Would have been great to have your app.
Oh, thank you. It's not an app yet, but it's like the screen displays earthquake, so like maybe bigger. We could have like big screens like on the freeway or something like that where people could see that there's an earthquake and then a loud sound.
Any other questions or comments?